Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of Doctorate Diaries. I'm Dr. Asrar Rashid, and today we're going to explore a topic that has revolutionized my thesis process. The topic's called Supercharging Your PhD Thesis with AI Tools. I'll share how I use advanced tools like ChatGPT, Scite and Grammarly to enhance my thesis writing journey past the traditional word packages such as Microsoft Word, Scrivener, etc. In the last phase of my PhD, there was a momentous explosion of AI tools, and certainly that did accelerate my level of productivity. And to utilize these tools, that really will increase your productivity too. I use ChatGPT for the final editing of my work. I found it extremely useful in the late editing stage of my work. Otherwise, a number of hours can be spent dealing with paragraphs and pages as you try to ensure that you capture the essence of what you're trying to say, and importantly, what you're trying to say is reflected correctly in the text so that somebody who's reading it actually understands and moves along with the thought process as it's meant to be. Because your perception of what you're writing and what you're saying may not be the perception of the reader. So it's very, very useful to have the help of ChatGPT for that final editing phase. It will also be useful to help you to understand how to rephrase chunks of work. So very, very useful from that point of view. Other researchers may use it for idea generation, problem solving. And certainly it's useful if you're having difficulties with intricate pieces of software or other problems, and you can ask it to give you some advice. For example, you have a problem statement and you want to give 5 solutions to that problem statement. You can give that questioning to ChatGPT, and ChatGPT will list those 5 possible ways of interpreting or moving along with the query. So very, very useful from that point of view, but it is only a tool and must be used as such. And really you do need to employ your own imagination, your own workflow to get the maximum benefit of that tool. I found it extremely helpful. And again, it was fortunate. It was the latter phase of my PhD, so I only needed it, for certain areas. And certainly, you should acknowledge the utilization of tools such as ChatGPT in the papers that you publish and the thesis itself. So, in terms of problem solving, ChatGPT can indeed provide clarification on certain concepts, provide explanations, and possibly solutions. This is particularly useful for understanding intricate theories and methodologies. I found it extremely useful in the methodology section of my thesis, where some of the intricate investigations and workflows didn't seem intuitive. But when applying GPT, I could understand the linkage between the different areas of the methods. Now, if we move on to Scite. So, Scite, I guess it's best is if I put up the Skype window here, and I've registered for Scite, the Skype version. So let's put a sentence related to my work. So let's say provide reference for the statement. Temporal cryptomics is essential to enhance our understanding of sepsis dynamics. You can see now it's just churning through the searches, and 5 out of 11, 8 out of 11, and you'll see it's consulting publications on the side. This actually saves an immense period of time, and it will expand the statement as well. So you can take as much of the statement as you want. You can insert that into your text after editing. So surprise, surprise, in this paragraph we can see Rashid et al. 2023, Rashid et al. 2021, and that's a substantial part of my work. And you can have a read, and it sort of talks about in the sentences on how the temporal understanding of sepsis and how it's related to outcomes, etc. So, that initial period when you're trying to get the analysis or the methodology or the introduction going is extremely useful, can save a lot of time. What I really liked about it is now if I just activate my EndNote here and put that on the side. What I really liked about this is if you click on this You can see the actual paper comes up, but you can actually cite and you can download the citation. So click the download and you can see it's just been downloaded there, and then say allow here. So it's done that. Now if I click on that, you can see that's gone directly into my EndNote, and that's been registered as an imported reference and also added to the references as well. So then within the next step would be to go into, let's say, into the body of text, and you wanted to put it somewhere in the text, you can do so. So all you do is flick it across like that, and there you are. You have inserted the reference into the text. So extremely useful piece of software, and it made my life a lot easier. Though again, as I mentioned, it was the latter third of my PhD. A substantial body of work had already been done by this stage. But for new budding PhD enthusiasts, there's a suite of tools. So Scite can be useful for the literature review, help you look and find out relevant papers. When you input keywords and phrases, you can discover papers that are highly cited in the area. This can save a substantial amount of hours compared to manual searching. Instead of sifting through the hundreds of papers, you can pinpoint the most influential studies in the field within minutes. Citation management, you just saw, provides real-time citation within the context of your work. And it helps you understand the impact and relevance of each of the sources, ensuring literature review can be as up-to-date as possible. For understanding how seminal papers are cited or to be cited, can provide you the relevant insights relevant to the field that you're working in. This can provide you contextualized information, whereas before you would have to get the paper, read it fully, understand it, take out the information and work out. This way, with Scite, it provides you the context. So you start reading the paper with respect to that context to ensure that context Scite is saying actually is relevant to, is actually inside the paper, but also relevant to your text as well. So that just increases the rapidity of workflow, which is absolutely amazing, I believe. Scite checks the credibility of references, ensuring sources, including thesis, are reliable and supporting your arguments effectively. So a process is invaluable in ensuring the robustness of the thesis. Now moving on to Grammarly. So if we go to the screen, you can see here I've got Grammarly on my system, and it's up and running. And if you go into settings, you can see I'm using British English. Now let's take a page of my thesis and let's assume there is a spelling mistake there. Okay, so Grammarly will instantly pick up that mistake and suggest a spelling. So you just right click and there you go. Now let's have challenges. So this is all in British English. If you're writing a paper for a US journal, you might want to, therefore you will want to use the US spellings. All you do essentially is go to American English. So the ability to be able to change the spellings as per the paper. So what I used to do was write the thesis in UK English, British English, and then compile it, and when required for the paper, change the spellings to the US version using Grammarly. Grammarly also provides the ability to not just spell check, but change the tonality. It will work off your tone, it'll learn off your tone and work off that. Or you can change the tone as per your requirements. Probably useful also summary as well, but for summarizing content, I veered towards using ChatGPT. I found that very, very useful. Especially, for example, you're submitting to a journal, you know your word count, let's say for the introduction is only 700 words, you've written 1,000, you then go to ChatGPT and bring it down to that 700 mark. What's important when you're summarizing and using ChatGPT, that you actually tell it not to summarize the references. So if you see here, I've highlighted one reference by to 2021. If you put that whole paragraph into ChatGPT and ask it to summarize it, it will do that, and it will get rid of the reference as well, or change it in such a way that it's not compliant with the reference manager. So in EndNote, the reference must be demarcated by such brackets, have the author name, a comma, the year, and the reference number. So that needs to be inside the brackets. So the best thing to do is actually tell ChatGPT, edit my paragraph, but ensure that the references which are in brackets as such are not modified in any way. So keep the references within the body of text. So that's the way to use ChatGPT with regards to summary work. But yes, you can use Grammarly also as well. And if you go to Grammarly online, there's also a way of checking for plagiarism as well. So you put your content on there, and you can see in the corner there's a plagiarism check as well. Plagiarism can be a problem, of course, if you're citing, etc., which is why using packages is very useful, save you time within the context of your thesis. But the other problem that might come to light is self-plagiarism when you're using your text from your papers for your thesis. And an AI tool will help you make some minor adjustments so that you can get around the self-plagiarism issue. But of course, the best thing to do is to communicate with the journals that you've published with to get permission to cite your work, include your work in a thesis. And most journals, the top journals at least, they already have a statement in terms of utilization of prior works from the authors of the thesis. So many journals already have a statement in which they allow authors who are writing for a thesis to include their work both in the paper form with the journal and the thesis form for the universities. So that was the third package we spoke about. So going back to Grammarly, Grammarly automatically detects and corrects grammar, spelling and punctuation errors. It helps to maintain a high level of professionalism and avoids common mistakes. Grammarly also provides suggestions for improved clarity and readability. It helps to highlight complex sentences and suggests simpler alternatives, making your writing accessible and engaging. I found this particularly helpful in making sure the arguments that I was putting across were clear and easy to follow. Grammarly also ensures consistency in the writing style, especially in terms of technical terms and formatting. This was crucial for maintaining a cohesive and professional thesis. For instance, it helped me standardize terminology and citation styles throughout my document. So you can see how I've implemented these three tools in a workflow. There are many other tools available as well, and just try them out and see what's best. But do time and time again, please do check what the large language models such as ChatGPT are doing to your text and how they're engaging with it and what's been produced. Do second check that. Grammarly itself is more straightforward because it's more on that latter side. Well, that's how I used it, and latter side of that final editing process. I used Grammarly at the end phase to improve the writing style and show a consistent flow of information. Scite, on the other hand, provides you an in-depth view of literature, provides citation management, helps you gather and organize your sources efficiently. And Grammarly provides you the ability to polish the grammar, correction, clarity improvement, consistency checks, etc. The aim is for your final draft to be polished and professional with grammatical errors. You can use advanced tools like ChatGPT, Scite and Grammarly to transform the thesis writing process, making it more efficient and less stressful. I hope you find these insights useful, helpful, and hope you can leverage these tools for your own research. Thank you for joining me on this episode of the Doctorate Diaries. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe for more tips and insights on your academic journey. Until next time, happy researching and writing.